Alright guys, today I've got a different kind of video for you. This is going to be a comparison on two 9mm single stack, single action only handguns that are on the market right now for roughly around $200. I'm kind of surprised I haven't come across any other videos or anyone comparing these two guns because they're very similar, or at least on YouTube that is. So what we have here, this is your Star BM. So it definitely loses on the name so far in this race here against the Zastava M88A. Like I said, these are both chambered in 9mm. They're single stack magazines and they're 8+1, so they both have the same capacity. The Star BM that we have here was made in 1976, whereas the Zastava was made in 1990. So kind of the older design on the newer gun, I would say that the Star is definitely a little more kind of evolved, more modern, at least out of these two here. Now as far as weight, the Star does weigh a little bit more than the Zastava. It's 2.14 pounds, and the Zastava is 1.8 pounds. Now I took a couple of my friends out shooting, kind of wanted them to shoot and feel both of these guns and have them kind of pick and get their opinion on which one they preferred and which one that they would, purchase. I did feel like the Zastava had a little more snap to it when shooting it. And maybe that's because it's a little bit lighter. I will say holding the two guns, the Zastava feels a lot better than what it looks. It looks kind of very awkward. And I remember some of us were kind of surprised at how well the Zastava actually felt. Whereas the Star BM looks like it's going to feel nice, and it does. And I'd say in the hands it definitely did feel better than the Zastava. It's just the Zastava was not as bad as what we were expecting. The overall length of the guns, let's see, the Zastava is just a little bit shorter, but the barrel length on them is still the same. It's 3.8 inches. So if you're looking for something compact, these are things to consider. The trigger pull on the Star BM, the BM definitely had the better trigger. Now both of these, the heritage of these is kind of interesting. They're both kind of based off of Colt designs. The Zastava here is definitely very much inspired by the Colt 1903. At least on the the physical design of the gun. Mechanically, it's a little bit closer to the 1911. Whereas the Star BM, it's not a clone of a 1911, but it's very much, a copy of a 1911. There's still some mechanical changes on that as well. So both of these, owe their heritage to the same place and kind of have gone the same route with it. The Star has a pivoting trigger. It is not straight back like on the 1911, whereas the Zastava does have a trigger that goes straight back. And normally that never bothers me when I go out shooting. I'll usually just take one or the other. But I was going back and forth between these two guns, and it really kind of messed with me a little bit at first, kind of getting used to that trigger pull again. But the Star, the trigger pull, like I said, these are both single action only. Trigger pull on that was 3 pounds, 2.5 ounces. And on the Zastava here, the trigger pull was 4 pounds, 7.6 ounces. So the trigger on the Zastava is just a little bit heavier. But I gotta say, it felt like more of a difference than that. I think just the overall feel of the trigger was just much better and much smoother on the Star. As far as sights, the Zastava here, we've got partial serrations along the slide. It does not go the full length of the slide. And then the rear sights are driftable, and so are the front sights, if we decide to focus. Now I will say when I first got this gun, the sights were drifted way off to the right, almost ready to fall off. And when we took this out shooting to do the comparison, I got it home and I checked this front sight, and as you can see, we've got play in it. Now while we were shooting, there's a few times I did kind of, touch that sight, make sure it was fixed, because I did have some concerns about it coming loose. And it seemed tight the entire time we were shooting. Now the last person to shoot this was Nate, and he had quite a spread on the two guns. I'll show you that here shortly. So I almost kind of wonder if this may have been partially due to that. So I need to clean that up. I don't know, just put some blue Loctite on there, or if I should stake it, or both. Let me know what you guys think. So both the sights are driftable on this one, and it has the partial serrations. The star, we have no serrations at all along the top. The front sight is not adjustable, whereas the rear sight, you can adjust it for windage only. And the profile overall of the rear sights of the star are much shorter than what is on the Zastava. I kind of prefer the sights on the star a little more. These Zastava sights are like your traditional Tokarev sights, and they just really stick up there. So another thing to consider if you're thinking about using this as a conceal gun, those sights might be annoying. Safety. All right. While we're on safeties, the safety on the Zastava is mounted on the slide, and you can put the safety on while the hammer is down, or, dang, that's a sturdy spring, put the safety on with the hammer back. Just like on the star, you can put the safety on with the hammer down, or you can put the safety on with the hammer back. Now on the star, this safety is mounted on the frame, whereas on the Zastava, it is mounted on the slide. And I'll tell you, just mechanically working that hammer right there, this thing felt like a Swiss clock next to this thing. And I hate to say that because I really like this gun. When I got it and I saw it, I just kind of started to fall in love. And if you saw my review video on the Zastava, you'll kind of see me nudging everyone in the direction of the star instead of this. So that's part of the reason too I want to do this review video, to kind of, is that really the better gun for roughly $200? And I think I know the winner, but I want to tell you I love this gun and I'm still rooting for it. So on the prices, going back to the trigger, both of these do have a magazine disconnect. On the star, it's extremely easy to remove it, where you can just put it back in at any given time. So the star has had the magazine disconnect removed. On the Zastava, to remove it, you're pretty much breaking the part, and I don't want to do that. So I left the magazine disconnect in. So as far as trigger pull, you might argue that that might help the trigger pull on the Zastava a little bit. When I removed it on the star, it was before I got a trigger pull gauge. So I was just going off of my own physical feel of the trigger before and after I moved the magazine disconnect, and I could not tell any difference whatsoever. So I'm not sure if that would be the case for this guy too, but full disclosure there. Okay. So price. That's where it kind of gets interesting with these two guns. The Star, I paid $270 for one in very good condition. It wasn't the first batch Classic got in. I think it was their second batch when they were just starting to get him in. And I should have waited. Now, this gun is a beautiful condition gun, and I love this gun to death. But right now, you can purchase them for... They're advertising them as good or very good, so not guaranteeing the very good part. But still, $200. And that's a hell of a deal. And with that, you will also typically get an owner's manual and a box of some sort. Other, hard plastics of different colors, or a cardboard box. The Zastava. This particular one is a military surplus or police surplus that came in from the former Yugoslavia. These are being sold in a variety of conditions. Now, your basic one that they're selling for $200, the same price as this condition, which is what Classic is selling them for. For $200, they're selling these for in a condition of fair. So condition-wise, you're getting a lot more for your money with the Star. They also have these ranging and good for $220. I think very good was a separate classification on price. I did not write that down. I'm pretty sure that's what this particular one is. And then they also had them in excellent condition, still used, but excellent condition for $260. And these do not come with a box. They do not come with an owner's manual. It comes with a cardboard, generic box that, surplus guns come in. Now, the interesting about this, too, is Yugoslavia, or there I go again, Serbia still makes these. Zastava still makes these in Serbia. And brand new, they go for about $200. So you got this weird thing where the surplus ones are going more than the new one. There's different conditions. Obviously, the new ones come with polymer grips. This particular lot from Classic and all the prices I've been giving you, they're saying the wood grips are luck of the draw. It appears that most of them do have the wood grips, so you might not even get wood grips with those prices. The finish is a little bit different. This is more of a gray finish. The newer ones, I think, are more of a flat black bluing, like what we see on the Star. And so I kind of like that classic look of this, as well as other stamping and different marks that I go over in the review of this have changed on the newer one. But still, new $200. And that's kind of like, so in that aspect, you could get one brand new for the price of a Star BM. And when we took these out shooting, I think everyone other than Nate, who he's the reason I've got this gun. He preferred the looks and the style of the Star BM. Everyone else, and it was me and some friends, we're all novice shooters, and I consider myself still a novice shooter as well. But pretty much everyone else liked the style of the Zastava. And I was kind of torn, but I do like the more classic lines of the 1903 looking gun here. And also, of course, you could easily just put wood grips on the Star, and they do have some beautiful wood grips on for this. I might have to do that. But I still just like the kind of gray bluing compared to the black bluing. And I know I'm really nitpicking here, and you really can't see the difference at all there. But that's just a purely cosmetic thing right there. I kind of feel like the Zastava, at least the older Zastava with the wood grips, wins out over your standard Star BM. If it had wood grips, maybe that would have definitely swayed the vote. As far as feel, like I said, everyone did say that the Star felt better compared to the Zastava, even though this kind of surprised some people at the fact that it felt a lot better than what it would look like. As far as shooting, I think everyone agreed, except for one that really she wasn't biased one way or the other, but everyone agreed that shooting, the Star felt a lot better. And I've seen review videos where people complain about this hammer, and them getting some hammer bite from it on these Stars. I haven't had that issue. I've got kind of small hands, so usually not an issue for me. The weird part is this stinker with its Bic-styled hammer. You wouldn't think it'd have any hammer bite at all. But, it got me good. Like, I was bleeding. It must swing way further back when that slide goes back. Because it also got Nate pretty good as well. So that was really interesting. I was not expecting that. I did not get any hammer bite the first time I took this gun out, or the second time. This was the third time I think I've taken this out. But it chewed me up. It definitely let me know. So that definitely kind of sucked there. One thing I will say that's also a big note. Magazines. If you're one of those kind of people that like to have a ton of spare magazines with your guns, I love this because it's kind of funny. Any review you see of the Star B, and people always like, now, you got to know, they don't make these anymore, so it's hard to find the parts. And it's like, just in the surplus world, that's kind of a given that you're getting into. Magazines for this, crimey, there is one thing I forgot to price check, and that was the magazines. I think they're $24, maybe cheaper, from Classic Firearms. You can get used magazines for this. This is no longer made, like you've seen brought up in all the videos. Or Zastava M88, which is still currently made by Zastava in Serbia. Good luck finding mags for this. I found one on eBay for $80. That's like half the price of the gun. These are still being made. And I find that really funny and kind of hilarious. So, spare mags for this, yeah, that kind of sucks. That's going to be more of an issue. And if you do find them, it might be the newer ones. A lot of the newer ones just come with a flat floor base instead of this little pinky extension, which I really like this. So something just to note as well. So let's see here. pretty much the BM won out on everything other than the name and the overall, just the looks of the gun. I think this kind of won over with his classic looks. And as far as accuracy, I took everyone's targets down. I wrote which gun they were shooting in their names, so you know I could see the difference in spread. Everyone, except for the same girl that didn't have a bias towards either way of, you know, a choice of shooting either one in feel, her accuracy was pretty much the same. One shot low for her and the other one shot high. But other than that, everyone shot better with the Star than with the Zastava. Now, don't mean to punch you out, Nate. This is the Zastava at 10 feet for Nate. Like I said, we're novice shooters. You know, give us a break. But a pretty good spread there. And like I said, I think that front sight also may have come loose. Although that wouldn't make any sense for the elevation. But anyways, so there's this Zastava. That was Nate shooting. Now this is Nate shooting the Star at 10 feet. Pretty big difference. Same, you know, 8 rounds. It was, yeah. After he got done shooting that, he just kind of looked at me. He's like, I've got to get one. And, yeah, he does. So, long story short, guys, I think the Star BM wins on this one. I had a feeling this gun was going to lose. You guys know that if you saw my review of this gun. But I was really rooting for it. I was really rooting for like a really close second place. But I don't even feel like it was a close second place. It kind of got pommeled. So if you're wanting a military surplus, Colt-esque kind of styled, single stack, 8 round, 9mm, single action, only firearm, get a Star BM. You will not regret it. They are very, very fun guns to shoot. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and have yourselves a great day.